2-5.
Yeah. Hi, guys. So we are at our new time, which is Thursdays at noon, and we are hoping to catch you on your lunch break. We're hoping that you can watch this either live or watch the replay and then head right out to the barn and afterwards and ride. I know lots of people have said after they watch that it makes them want to ride and they wish they could go ride. So hopefully this time is going to work out well for you guys as well as us. So today what we're talking about is how to improve your circles. And where this kind of came out of was some of you know Lindsay, who works for us in the barn and cleans the stalls and does manes and tails and is like an integral part of our team. She came to her lesson on Monday this week, and when I said to the group of ladies, what do you want to work on today? She said, I want to work on my circles. I'm losing some points in my circles. I've been reviewing my videos and looking at my score sheets. I gotta start working on circles. So I thought first of all I would tell you that story because you know, from a coaching perspective, it's so great to have somebody show up and know what they want to work on and have at this point in the year reviewed videos, reviewed score sheets, and have a real focus. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is improving circles. So if you have been in that same situation where you're coming into show season and you're thinking, I know I'm losing some points in my circles, or I've looked at my videos and there's some things that I want to fix, then this is going to be for you. I'm good?
Sounds good.
Okay. So if you have questions as we go, you can leave them in the comments. If you are watching the replay, you can leave those questions as well, and we will come back to them. We'll circle back to them and try to get those answered for you. And just like with any of these Facebook Lives and Q&As and things, if you have a desire for further support and you're looking for actual exercises to be doing when you're on the horse, then you should send me a message about our Momentum program, because that's where we're actually teaching the exercises and performing some of these exercises that we're talking about on the horses and showing you those specific things. So when it comes to circles, if you had a student come to you and say, I want to improve my circles, and they looked at their score sheets, they looked at their videos, they know they need to improve their circles, where do you start? What's your go-to?
First thing I always start with is wherever you put your hand, your horse needs to follow. Meaning that you can't sit there and go bump, 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 bump over. You can't move your hand around. If I put my hand to the right, Flicka needs to go to the right. If I put my hand to the left, Flicka needs to go to the left. I think we lose so much of willingly guided when we start not meaning what we want with our hand and we start bumping them around wrong. That's the first one for me, is
just go right back to simplifying it to what's willingly guided. Are you holding your hand still? Is your horse in between your reins?
right.
Yeah.
And I think on top of holding your hand still, hold your hand still when you're locked in, and move your hand effectively when you need to, whether it be to turn into a slow circle, go the other way. Move it effectively, but don't sit there and nag at them. Just, if I put my hand over, they say yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, if it's a girl riding. How about you?
Okay.
Well, it seems silly if my horse says yes, ma'am, when I'm riding it, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah. So I would have actually gone back a step further. So when we're saying I'm losing points in my circles, I think the most important thing, and with any maneuver, is to look and see what's actually being included in that maneuver. So sometimes in your maneuver score, let's say for your stop's good, but you're actually losing the points in your rollback, and it shows up on the scorecard. Sometimes it shows up all together. So same thing for your circles. If you're evaluating your circles and your scores for your circles, look to see whether it's actually the circle, whether it's the lead change, if the lead change is
The
being
lope
scored,
departure.
if it's the lope departure, if it's the stop at center, like whatever it is, look to see, you know, and that's where the video is so handy because the score sheets only tell you so much. But if you look at the video, then you can usually pick up kind of where you're losing those points. And then focus in on that point, which a lot of the time it's what you said, it's just a willingly guided piece. But pinpointing that first from the score sheet and from the video, then I would say, is it correct? That's the first thing that the judges ask themselves or say to the scribe. They're watching a maneuver, they say, is it correct? Which means that you need to be performing the maneuver the way that it's described in the pattern. So are you hitting center? Are you actually coming around and hitting center? And that's a huge one. That is a huge one. And I think people think that's one for like green reiners, which like in this case, Lindsay is a green reiner and she knows she needs to tighten up her center work. And she's, you know, been doing great with that. But I think as we increase the level of difficulty and we start adding more and more speed, you know, or we go from 2 hands to 1, we still have to stay focused on that. Is it correct? Am I hitting center?
And not only center, but if I'm 3 feet off of the left wall,
Yes.
am I 3 feet off the right wall? Don't crowd up to the judge. Don't hide behind, you know, don't hide on the other end of the arena. Put it in center where it belongs through the whole arena. Make your circles symmetrical. You know, 2 big should be on the same flight path as the second one should be on the same flight path as your first big. Mm-hmm. If your left ones are 5 feet off your walls, your right ones should be the same. Mm-hmm. You know, did you control that horse? Willingly guided, put them where you want to go.
Is your small circle actually small? Is your big circle actually big? Or do they all look like medium circles? You know, staying focused on that, the pattern placement and sticking as closely to the rules and the way that the pattern is described is super, super important. Then I would go willingly guided and try to really improve all of the pieces of that. And then if we're talking about improving scores on your circles, that's when I would look for adding some level of difficulty.
I think that one's so far, the third one, those first 2, people get so wanting to go fast and really make it, you know, they think they're doing a good job by running fast and slowing them down hard and doing whatever. But the reality of the horses are you're going to score better and your horse is going to last longer if you're extremely controlled, have your pattern placement, extremely controlled, willingly guided. You know, and I think that's something that everybody kind of forgets is they might have a bad lope off and then they go run the horse hard and you just wasted, you know, your horses only have so many runs in them. Why waste it? Get your correct lope off, correct circle. And the other one, it's getting better, but from the judging point of view, it used to be that it was hard to plus circles. You know, you could run kind of a fancy set of circles and the judges would only give you a half, plus half on it. And I think, you know, there's a lot of time, especially like some of the horses we haul for weekend horses, where being nice to them on a circle and taking just a 0 circle that's really correct, you know, speed them up, slow them down, but don't run them super hard. Those horses will last for years and years. You know, we see so many, you know, people all want to run them horses so hard all the time and then wonder why, you know, they're just not lasting. So to me, I think the correct and the willingly guided is so much more important than running them, you know, running them super fast. Now, there's a few people on that shouldn't listen to that because they don't want to run at all. So.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a person that likes to stay slow, you might need to reconsider that a little bit.
There is still the rule book that says a big, fast, small, slow. It has to be going in the big, fast. I see Rob's on here. I don't know if Jill will listen later. She would be one of those.
She's going to feel called out when she watches this. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement with speed, and you know, when you're increasing your level of difficulty, if you're sacrificing, you don't want to increase speed and then sacrifice the accuracy, right? Which I know to some degree you still can do, and you can still get credit, but you have to be running really, really stinking fast for the judge to be able to justify you being 3 feet off center, 5 feet off center, right? You're way better to stick to that accuracy and build speed slowly as you can, maintain that accuracy, because you can still get the same amount of credit without going as fast by just staying really, really true to your pattern placement.
I think that sure goes back to, like, we see a lot of people coming in for lessons and coming to ride horses here right now, where they've been riding lazy all winter, and they're loping circles, and their horse is quiet, but they're just loping random wherever. You know, I think it's time to smarten up. You know, the show season's almost here. And that doesn't mean I always run perfect circles. I hardly ever run a complete perfect circle. I'll steer them in, steer them out, keep them between the reins so they're always listening, willingly guided, knowing that willingly guided will get me to center. But they have to be paying attention to what that circle is.
Rob just said, I got that. I'm just going to pass it on to Jill later. So one other thing I wanted to touch on about circles and practicing circles, right now, being at the time of this recording, it's March. We're getting into the end of March, and we've been riding inside all winter. And one of the things that has been happening in a lot of my lessons is, you know, through the winter, we've maybe backed off a little bit and really focused on the specific rider development or the very specific horse development. And now we have to kind of kick it into a different gear where we maybe can't, you know, give one horse the whole arena space to go and practice something just so that they don't get interrupted by the other riders. We have to get into that zone of, no, listen, I'm going to be in the warm-up pen with 40 other riders, and I still have to get this stuff done. So getting back into that mindset of, you know, not eliminating all the other stuff around you, but doing all the things you've been working on with all of that going on. And if you're riding alone all the time, going and putting not just your horse, but yourself in a situation where you have other horses around and other things going on, and you still have to, you know, keep whatever pieces it is that you've been working on, keep those going. Because I know that's an easy thing to do in the winter, and I think there's a lot of value in doing that sometimes, but now's not the time. Now we have to get back into the zone of focusing ourselves and our horses with lots going on. We've got clinics and horse shows, and I don't want anybody getting warm-up pen shock.
Well, and even when people take their horses out, whether it be to lessons or just riding with friends and stuff, the one thing we see all the time that takes away that willingly guided is they get coming into traffic and they start throwing their hands around. You know, if you see traffic up ahead, just pull your hand to the side, that horse go to the side and go off. You know, make them say yes sir, yes ma'am, and keep them open, and where will we go?
Okay, I think that gives you some good things to think about, maybe some inspiration to go and ride after you watch this. And if you guys have questions or topics for future lives, Q&As that we're doing, you can send them in to us. You can write them in the comments. You can reply to the email that will now be going out on Thursdays. Or you can just send us a message in whatever way that we communicate. We'll add it to our list, and we will either combine it with another one, or we'll make a whole separate session just for you and your question. Okay, you can check our website for everything that we have going on. You can check the tack shop, Reining Tack Canada. You can also reach out to us about custom saddles, and like I said at the beginning, the Momentum program, which is probably right now the best way to work with us, because there's all kinds of videos in there and all kinds of support for you to keep up with your progress at home. We've got some clinics coming up. Right now, all of the participant spots are full, but we would love to see you as a spectator. And if you do come as a spectator, you're more than welcome to participate in our potluck lunches, which are becoming kind of famous now. And you're welcome to come and sit whenever we run partial patterns. We invite the auditors to come out and sit in the arena and be a part of it. You know, be right out into the arena and watching it from the judge's perspective. So we'd love to see you for any of those things. Thanks for watching, and let us know how your riding's going.
Have a good day.